it's actually going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Ooh, a little bit of a shake-up here. Usually, as we know it, as both of the MVP teams tries to go to the Sky Temple in Battleground 2, but instead it's Spider Queens. Here also, this is where Stitches gets the power, and that's exactly why I feel like Miracle banned Malfurion from the beginning. But I don't think that's the best choice of banning from the beginning. I think just ban Zeratul. Kyocha is 14-0 on that Zeratul now, and just take Stitches for yourselves. I think that's a better way of drafting from the beginning.
Yeah, I like the ban of either Genji or Zeratul as well, as rather than just taking the Malfurion ban. I felt like that was a really weak choice, all things considered, especially because they didn't even take the Zeratul for themselves. So I can understand the thought process too for Miracle, because if they've never scrimmed against this before, the idea of Zeratul plus Genji probably feels like unlikely. We've never seen it before in this tournament either, but we've seen it now, and now it's something that you have to respect.
I think the biggest difference is the player who can play on which hero. It's because Dami plays both Dehaka and Zeratul, when Black has Sake for global, kind of like to counter against Dehaka. But Kyocha is actually playing Zeratul, so Black has two options for the 2 picks, but Miracle only has Dami for the 2 picks. So that's really screwing up with their draft from the beginning. That's
a really good point. You know, we haven't really seen Sniper play any melees other than Dehaka. And that's because he's always been kind of he was the off flex back even in 2016 spring. He was mostly the Tassadar player, right, for TNL. And he's since moved into the off DPS, like the fall stat. We've seen him even on the Gul'dan, but there's a Zeratul ban to start things off already. Not going to let this happen again. And Black looks to ban the Genji, so both of those terrifying melees are out of the picture. This may mean Miracle just picks up the Gazebo. Another strong choice here would be the Falstad pick, and that's something that Black specifically has been running on this map, even in first pick, because Sake loves to split push with it. Sake has gone full circle. He was the main DPS. Now that's been replaced by Reset. Now he's the flex DPS who looks to split push. He's going to have boss control and things like that with the Falstad.
But within the last 3, 4, 5 series, Sake has been basically only been playing Falstad or Ragnaros for their team, actually. And this is the map for Ragnaros to come in when Falstad is taken or banned away. So those high 2 picks were going for Sake all the time, which is letting Black to take Li Ming for their backline for Reset. And also, when they need global, they can go for Dehaka, because Kyocha can play on Dehaka or even Zeratul when it's available.
What's it going to be, Miracle? Thinking a lot about this one. They're going to take the Malfurion themselves. And this may draw out the Stitches pick from them. Black very much can't pick the Stitches here into this, I don't believe. They're going to have a follow-up route, and they can't ban it either. So Miracle maybe kind of be putting all their eggs in one basket here. Only time will tell. On the side of Black, this feels like a Falstad rotation, though. The Falstad with a tank like a Muradin. Could be the Ragnaros you described if they don't want to take Falstad on this map for the delays. And no other team would ever draft Li Ming here, but I think Black would definitely consider it just because of the delays, the pokes, and how good Reset is on the hero. So there's a lot of things to consider now with how this draft has gone with those 2 big, flashy melee assassins removed, the Genji and the Zeratul. So it will be Ragnaros and Tyrael. I'll leave the Falstad open.
Ooh, I can smell that judgment incoming. But it's only a smell. We don't know it yet. I want to see that judgment smash right on top the combo to take one out. If they want to, it's as if it's like Miracle. If you're going to take Stitches, we also have our own combo. We'll take one out just like you guys will do.
Well, the other follow-ups here for Miracle, like Stitches is quite good against Ragnaros because he has no escapes, and if he gets caught in the top lane, for example, with a hook coming in, Stitches can walk through those vents, those line-of-sight blockers, get the hook, have the follow-up route, and end you. And even kill a Tyrael, realistically. If Algerune's is off cooldown, you're just like, oh, okay, you're dead. So it feels too good to be true. The Miracle is definitely going to give some consideration to that and the Falstad.
And are they going to try to do the Zebo again, and
Okay,
seems
so
like exactly what they've been doing throughout this playoff.
by the way, it's no Bikini Stitches is old news. It's all about Chef Stitches now. All about the Chef Stitches. So the Zebos for the scaling, this map, actually, the map time has kind of changed, to be honest. Like, it feels like Dragonshire has actually kind of surpassed this map in terms of game time, but these are still the top 2 in terms of game length. So it's going to work well for Nazebo. Tychus has been paired with Nazebo many times, and Black wants to ban it again. Hovering the Leeming for a moment, but I feel like they'd be better off giving that to Reset instead. So there's the Tychus ban. Wonder if Miracle will consider banning the Leeming as well. I think a Rhaegar ban is also fairly decent in this case, but it will be the Vala. Valarial's still available.
And also with Tyrael, that's going to be extra sanctification. The perfect protection on Vala is exactly what they need.
Look at the win rate for Stitches, by the way. 12-5. It's like the opposite of Genji.
Actually, yes. Just before last game.
And this has mostly been towards the end of Part 2 of Phase 1. The few times we saw like Judy play Stitches early on, he had a few wins, but against some of the weaker teams, not really used by the top tier.
Stitches just came out in Korea. Not just came, it was never coming out, but after that one game with L5, Noblesse on that Stitches with pair up hooks. I think that's what made a lot of difference. When other teams tried it, they also counterpicked Medivh to have that protection to it. Maybe MVP Black is considering that too.
Lucio Greymane, so this is going to be a Greymane composition with the Tyrael. Lucio's not going to provide much protection against the Stitches hooks though. I'm a little bit worried about that.
But with the speed, it's going to have an easier time to actually dodge the hooks. I think that's the main
idea.
point they're
Sure.
trying to get here.
We've seen an incredible amount of harass and pressure coming out from Meriday and Hyde on the Lucio. Swoy has been a little bit less successful in terms of harass on turn-ins, but when you think about top supports, Meriday is definitely the best Lucio on this map. You've seen him play it many, many times.
The harass and with that wall ride is just unreal. It's just so
unreal, as he would say. This will be his 6th career game of Lucio. So now the big question for Miracle is, what's going to be the DPS? Will they go for the Leeming? Do they feel confident enough against even the Tyrael with that? Tough question. Going to be Falstad. So kind of following in Black's footsteps in terms of the split pushing here, as Black's been the team to run Falstad more than others. Sake, a camera goes immediately to him, and he's like, that's mine.
Yeah, Ben, this is the map where Falstad can stack up so much with the Seasoned Marksman and complete before around level 16 to 17, so it's going to be very helpful to Miracle to get that power spike.
So Sake will, in this game, be on the Ragnaros. It's going to be Greymane being played by Reset, very likely, unless Kocha off races or sorry, that's a StarCraft term, off rolls.
So right now they're looking for Kocha's hero here. Do you really want to have the global when you don't really need one, when you already have Lucio for the fast rotations?
Yeah, I mean, I could even see this being like a Sonya pick, you know? He's like strong solo laner, can help harass, can be strong in the 4-man, can help solo lane if Tyrael wants to swap down.
And Alarak may be the answer for Kocha?
Could be. Going to be Leeming, so
whoa.
This is actually breaking the rules of drafting for MVP Black. This is going to be out of a triple DPS, Leeming, Greymane, Ragnaros. We've seen this with the Zeratul, if you replace the Zeratul in the Ragnaros, because Sake can play the Leeming. In this case, it feels like Kocha might actually be on that Ragnaros, which he's struggled to play for so long throughout this tournament. Maybe now, in this finals of playoffs, he can actually play it and show his stuff. We're going to find out in just a moment who will be on which hero as we go into game number 2 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Can MVP Black bring us to match point, or is MVP Miracle going to tie it up? Let's find out. In blue, Sake on Greymane. Reset, of course, on Li Ming. Test on Tyrael, and Kyocha will be on the Ragnaros. Meride will be on Lucio.
And in red, MVP Miracle. Hankana on Stitches, Dami on Arthas, Sniper on Falstad, Crazy Moving on Nazeeba, and Darvish on Malfurion this time.
So for Ragnaros records for MVP Black, Kyocha has had 2. Oh, hold on thought. Here's the first hook combo.
On to Tis, so he's going to survive.
Sake has had 7 games of Ragnaros this season. Kyocha has had 2. And by the way, both of those games are fairly weak. The community was really harsh on him as well for his Ragnaros. It just seemed like he couldn't adapt to that new Ragnaros meta with the variant. But perhaps he's been practicing behind the scenes here, because now they have this kind of triple DPS that Kyocha doesn't fit into, because normally he couldn't play the Ragnaros in the past. But in this game, he's looking to show us otherwise.
So with that, Lucio with the speed boost is going to make it a little bit tough for Hankana to land on those hooks.
Reset with some sick accuracy onto Crazy Moving so far. I feel like it's tough to actually go Superstition against a Greymane, but if this keeps happening, you might want to give some consideration. I don't think that'll be viable against a Greymane, but still, the orbs have been hitting home. I don't even want to look at Reset's damage already in this game. Probably already at like 3K.
That's correct, man. Reset's Li Ming is, if you just let him on Li Ming, you gotta go back, or you gotta try to juke in a way. But even if you juke, he will hit you anyhow. So just try to just not be even close to him. That's gonna be the only answer.
Just like a few interactions in MOBAs like this. Besides, you want to run into the orb instead of away from it. Darvish eats that orb damage this time. They're looking for the follow-up damage on a Reset. The speed boost and amp it up will help him escape. This is going to be a fairly even trade. Hook does attempt to grab, but will fail this time. Gems carried very even between the two. This is risky, actually. Sake committed to Worgen there, but will dodge the root. Maybe Dami once again on the Arthas, who's actually been showing a lot more Arthas recently with this combo. So many ways to, if you get a hook, have those follow-up picks, but unfortunately so far the hooks have mostly been whiffing, minus that first hook onto Tyrael in the early game.
And this solo lane on top will be Rag against Falstad. Ragnaros, of course, has so much pushing power. Can also get the Q clutch done pretty easily. Let's see if Kyocha's Ragnaros can be better than Sake when it comes to Spider Queens. They've been really playing Rag on this map or Infernal Shrines. Those are the only 2 maps they've been really focusing on Ragnaros.
Well, here's the root follow-ups after the hook, but Meride still gets away with Amp It Up, using the speed boost, and then immediately turns on the heals. Now going to actually come back in for the counter. They get the pick onto Dami and almost get more. Kyocha is vulnerable here, but Reset, no fear, comes over. He knows that if he got the kill, they would have gotten the dominance Reset and the health that comes with it. Super aggressive play to Reset this game. He's walking into the Stitches.
That's right. He knows everything that he's gonna dodge and hit. That's the power of Li Ming, and Reset's power, of course, on Li Ming. It's a little bit of harass.
Ooh, risky here for Sniper to stay. God, Reset is so good at Li Ming. It's like
Double
actually
root.
insane. Gets away there with that extra speed. That's one of the things that Ragnaros could do too to help people escape. You have the Ragnaros speed boost, and of course Lucio stacked on top of that, and get out of there pretty quick. Just have to survive that initial burst that comes after the root.
Once Nazeebo and Falstad get those stacks, I believe they have the burst to melt down any target that is hooked. Kono has been missing some hooks so far.
Yeah, it's like I don't even want to be critical of him. I feel like the positioning of Black has just been super prepared for this. And we know that Miracle's been scrimming a lot of hooks, right? So it's with Dami on the Dahaka, and of course Honkono on the Stitches. You end up with a lot of that. So Black has practiced against this quite a bit. Just seems like they're really well versed in dealing with it.
See the harass coming out from Meride. It's like they don't even... And they got a kill too on the bottom lane.
Got him, blew him up so fast our Observer couldn't even catch it.
And crazy, C-moving has been dying way too much today, especially got picked up several times in Dragonshire just before in game number 1 too. And Black is really punishing for his Nazeebo play whenever he steps. It looks like he doesn't even step over, but it's just Black just having this crazy pressure onto him.
Yeah, they just know how to find him and how to punish him. They're going to get the first full turn in here. The first web weaver push. Still a lot of gems carried by Miracle, but Black has controlled these lanes with the 2 picks they've gotten and how much wave clear they have. Like, they actually have an insane amount of wave clear and rotation power with Lucio. So it feels like Miracle's always just one step behind in terms of EXP. They're not missing that many minion waves or anything like that. They're just getting it a little bit later, and they're also getting it, you know, their towers are losing ammo, for example, which means his web weaver push is going to be even stronger because of the damage that's already been done to these turrets in mid, bot especially. This actually really heavily commits in. Looking for that window. They actually got the wall down first so that Reset could try to actually get an angle back there.
That's also a great aggro play, so the Web Weaver can do a little bit more damage while they try to focus the damage onto himself. And meanwhile, that was happening, Kyocha, and also Greymane at the bottom.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can see, like, look at how there's no ammo in these turrets, so the Web Weaver's still almost at full health. Look at the bot lane, too. No issue there whatsoever, so already doing damage to both forts, just a little bit. Follow-up hook here onto Kyocha, but there's just no damage. The root's way too late from Dami.
That was the hook that he's been looking for onto Ragnaros, but there was no root follow-up, and the damage was not too much done. So luckily for Kyocha, he's going to survive off that.
The mid fared best of all 3 lanes, and still they lose both turrets. Cannon towers are down. They have enough for almost another turn in. They're 7 away currently in terms of gems carried. And because they have this massive lead in EXP and they're about to hit 10, they should be able to get the double turn in. There's almost no way Miracle can deny without, you know, getting a pick before 10, which is impossible now. 10's reached. They're going to see Cursed Bullet, actually, with this to try to blow up this heavy front line.
Wow. Going to force all in.
We live in a world, too, G-Clef, now where Judgment is kind of meta. Like, it's not really that meta, but it's definitely a possibility. They are considering it.
I think compared to just 4 or 5 months ago where Judgment was almost a misclick in Korea. But now it's basically a thing. It's sometimes more likely if you have Sergeant Hammer with BFG to take out. Of course, didn't really work for Mighty yesterday, but still, he's considering it, and I think we're likely to actually see it coming. With Wave of Force even more, yes. It
just depends on if you can find one angle to make it happen. Like, that's how you do this. This is how you should do it, even in your solo queue games, guys, is if you ever want to run Judgment, wait until you actually have the perfect fight, and then, you know, just use Control on whatever you have it hotkeyed to pick your talents in, and then just lock it in and then use it immediately. That's what we're going to see here. It's going to be Sank, though. Looks like they just didn't feel like they could find a window before 10 to actually get a pick to snowball this further, so they wait. But if they were going to use Judgment, they wanted to lock it in and get that one pick immediately. Kyocha gets hooked, but again, there's no follow-up because of all the pressure that's being put on right now, and Crazy Moving just wasn't in position.
Also, the movement boost from Lucio has been helping so much for the entire team.
Yeah, this could actually be a Judgment opportunity. I like that Miracle backs off here. It's really unfortunate when you have to back off like this. You just feel so terrible, but if you don't, then a Sanctification comes down, and then you lose a team fight in this narrow choke. We're going to see the commitment of the Molten Core here as they want to get this keep wall. Top wave push is actually still going on as well. Don't know if this was 100% worth it, just simply because it didn't accomplish much for them.
And they want to go punish right in for it, but Reset comes for the help. Dami's going to do the ice block. 2 great roots and perfect root, but Sanctification was the right choice for Tist here.
Smash is still available. They need to be very cognizant of that. Dami's just going to come onto the chase here. They do very barely get the mount up there. Reset gets onto his MVP mount, rides away into the sunset. No sunset in the Tomb of the Spire Queen. This is funny to think about, but there's a ceiling on this place, I guess. It's like the only battleground with a ceiling. Haunted Mines doesn't count. There's actually no ceiling in Haunted Mines, it's a hole.
There's a hole in the middle too,
yeah.
A giant hole you can see through.
Exactly.
Cursed Bullet has been helping out.
Yeah, definitely.
For the beginning, and just trying to chunk down the health bar of Arthas or Stitches.
Okay, this has to be a pick, right? There's no way they don't get him. So, oh, Sound Barrier comes up, and now the Cursed Bullet going to help to try to get Honkono. Tist wants it. That was everything they could have ever hoped for, and it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. They got the Sound Barrier and the very short cooldown Cursed Bullet, but still just such frustration now on the side of Miracle as He had that perfect CC follow-up, just nothing there. Falstad's not here for this, by the way. They're just going to give the boss up and go for the picks instead. They already have Dami down. Now Falstad's here. Tist is going in. They want the pick on the Darvish. He has a Twilight Dream, but nothing else. Reset gets that first critical mass. He's going to go for the chase. Not enough damage to get a second takedown. Well, they get 2 here with Dami and Darvish going down. The Web Weavers get picked against them, and they do prevent the boss, but still, this is not going to accomplish anything now because 2 members dead means it's just going to be cleared before it even reaches the halfway point of the map.
Miracle being super smart on that play. Right after they saw the Gust. That's the powerful tool when you try to take the pause. And Miracle did turn in, but that's going to just relieve the pressure onto all lanes. But not just that, they want to have this engage and no following up hook here.
Oh man, looks like they're just like, they're scripted, man. Like, it's so good. Like, there's like, the hook just is like a magnet, man. It just pushes them away. It's a repelling magnet. The speed boost usage here from Meriday, very well done. Jukin and Jivin. Now they have 68 gems carried. They just go for the follow-up turn in here once the satchel's open in 3. They're actually going to commit to this fight. Crazy Moving is the target.
Nowhere to run. Molten Core is on the other side, but the Gust to save his teammates for the moment. Is that going to be enough? Darvish gets very low.
It's tough to actually chase Sake here with the Molten Core available. Sanctification will be popped as the fight continues. Sound Barrier as well. They've already got the kill to Darvish down there at the bottom. Molten Core going to help out with that. Dami dies as well. 2 fights in a row, this is the case. Sniper, I don't know if he's going to escape this time. Will not. The heals come in from the Amp It Up. They're going to get 4 here. On Kodo, he's body blocking him. Coach has got the body block up. Meriday's coming in. They want this, and they're going to die for it. The cocktail goes in, and that's enough. That's the 5-man wipe. 81 gems carried now. 0 for Miracle. And they're just going to push down this keep. They have a double talent tier advantage here for just a moment. And this looks like it might be that 3-0 stomp, G-Club, if things continue like this.
That's the power of Curse Bullet. He used one at the beginning of the fight and also just in time got the cooldown back right when he wanted to get that Stitches cocktail and Curse Bullet going out at the same time.
Look at the disengage here. Sniper wants to come in for the Gust. No saving Kyoto this time. But the fact that they were all able to get out speaks a lot, speaks volumes for the coordination on the side of MVP Black.
I would give up one of my teammates for a keep at 12 minutes against the Nazebo and Falstad. Exactly, that's...
Absolutely,
yes.
An amazing trade, and they almost got away. I just want to highlight it again, they almost got out of there. So, Gust was used, Flight was used. Worth it for those exchanges, but the keep is more valuable than anything that we could even talk about right now. Holy Ground is used. Dami, once again, hyper-aggressive on this Arthas. You know, I feel like he's been playing so much Tahaka recently, but the Arthas does not have Burrow, man. He will actually get caught, and he will die if you just try to stay too far forward. Very similar heroes in terms of what their kits can accomplish with the root, the tongue grab, the slow around you, the AoE damage, but in terms of that Burrow, Arthas doesn't have it, so.
This makes me smile. This is MVP Black. Even when they're a member down, 4v5, they don't go back. They pressure. This is MVP Black right here, man.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the kind of play that we've come to know and love for this team over the past few years. Tist going to go in for the Holy Ground. Once again, Dami takes a lot of damage, has to actually pop Army of the Dead. That's going to be a long cooldown for his self-sustain. Gargantuan as well, now down as the keep pressure is on. And another Web Weaver turn in here for Black. Miracle does not even have enough for one at this moment in time. Black wants to solidify their lead, take a second keep at minimum as they push down this keep wall in the mid lane.
Miracle doesn't even have the first walls down of the Black side. That's amazing to see. Black is having this constant pressure. Even the Wet Weavers are coming.
Look at this!
Comes from the side.
Tist is so good. He jumps in. The Holy Ground going to help secure the kill. This time on to Honkoto. Dami's actually caught within his own wall here. Reset's had enough of that. He's going to come in. Sake dives in with the Worgen form as well. Dami will eventually go down here. The smash to help finish him off. This is going to be another keep. This will likely be game with 2 dead already. Web Weaver in the bot lane going to have catapult support, and we'll just work down towards the core. Here's a second keep. And they are just forcing this into the core now.
There's the Molten Core. Crazy Moving is an ice block, but no way of escaping right here. That's going to be another reset, going to reset And Core is on their way of the shields now, down to 100%, starting right now.
So much damage, missing now with Nazeebo dead. It's only realistically the fall stat here. Sniper to try to find the value, but it's not going to be enough. 12 kills to 1. Had they not lost Kyocha on the retreat, this would have been a perfect game for MVP Black. No walls down, no forts touched. 12 kills to the 1.
This is the power of the Kings. The MVP Black. Of course, L5 is already on top, but these two teams from Korea, I think they're close to unbeatable, just perfect drafting depending on the battleground. Even MVP Miracle looked very, very strong yesterday against Mighty and GG and Tempest before and 2 days ago. But against Black, they're having such a hard time right now, with Nazeebo pick especially.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to stop prioritizing the Nazeebo against Black. If they're going to crush you this hard, and if Crazy Moving can't avoid those hooks, can't avoid the chain CCs, if he's getting picked repeatedly, I don't think the Nazeebo is going to be a valuable pick. I don't think it's going to be worth it. You called him out on it early in that game, and I think it's just true. He's been dying far too often to get that scaling to actually survive. And against the coordination of Black tonight, I don't know if anything is going to work. They look so dominant. I didn't think we were going to have this potential 3-0, but a lot of whisperings were saying, I think if Black takes it, it is going to be a 3-0 because they're going to have that dominant performance. They're going to have the very strong 2-0. But remember, this happened against L5. L5 had the reverse sweep.
That's right.
In the second part of regular season, so anything could still happen here.
And that's going to be all after the break because they will have some few minutes to actually fresh up, get some air, and just talk about what they did wrong, and they can fix everything within that time and go back just like L5 did. MVP Black was winning 2-0 before that break time.
Exactly. So we'll see. I mean, comebacks do happen in HGC Korea. This could be a quick night, though. It could be a quick win for MVP Black. We're going to come back after a short commercial break to see if Miracle can turn this around.